Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in life when you will be met with rudeness, disrespect, and negativity. Someone will test your patience, push your limits, and try to provoke you. But in that moment, remember this: your response defines who you are, not them. A rude person wants a reaction, anger, frustration, retaliation. But the greatest regret you can place in their heart is your silence, your composure, and your refusal to engage in their toxicity. When someone disrespects you, don't lower yourself to their level. Instead, rise above it. Silence is one of the most powerful responses you can give when faced with rudeness or disrespect. It carries more weight than any angry words you could say in retaliation. When someone disrespects you, their goal is often to provoke a reaction, to get under your skin, to pull you into an emotional battle where they have control. But when you refuse to engage, when you meet their negativity with composed silence, you take away their power. They expect you to fight back, to argue, to defend yourself. But when you simply choose not to, they are left unsettled and frustrated, realizing that their words have not affected you the way they intended. This does not mean you are weak or that you allow others to mistreat you. On the contrary, silence in the face of rudeness is a sign of great strength. It is a statement that says, "I will not lower myself to your level." It tells the other person that their words and actions do not dictate your emotions, that you are in control of your own state of mind. When you do not react, they are left to sit with their own negativity, to reflect on their behavior, and often to regret what they have said. There is an old saying, never argue with a fool, because from a distance, people can't tell who is who. If you were from a distance, people can't tell who is who. When someone speaks to you with disrespect, they are revealing something about themselves, not about you. Their words are a reflection of their inner world, their frustrations, their insecurities. By choosing not to respond, you avoid being pulled into their negativity. Instead, you remain centered, showing that you are not easily shaken by someone else's bitterness. Sometimes silence alone is not enough. If the situation requires a response, let it be one of wisdom rather than anger. A simple statement like, "I hope whatever is troubling you gets better," can be incredibly powerful. It disarms the other person, forcing them to reconsider their approach. Instead of escalating the conflict, it shifts the focus onto them, making them question why they are acting the way they are. This is not a statement of sarcasm, but of confidence and emotional intelligence. It subtly reminds them that their behavior is uncalled for, without you having to directly say it. The ability to remain silent, to walk away, or to respond with wisdom rather than emotion is a sign of true self-respect. It shows that you value your peace of mind more than proving a point. And that in itself is the greatest response you could ever give. Your self-worth is not determined by how others treat you. It is something that comes from within, something unshakable, something that no amount of rudeness or disrespect can take away unless you allow it. Too often, when faced with a rude person, people internalize the negativity. They begin to question themselves, wondering if they did something wrong, if they deserved the unkind words or treatment. But the truth is, the way someone treats you says everything about them and nothing about you. When someone disrespects you, it is often a reflection of their own struggles, their insecurities, their frustrations. It has little to do with you and everything to do with what is happening inside them. But the mistake most people make is allowing that negativity to influence their own perception of themselves. They let one rude comment, one disrespectful encounter shake their confidence. This is why it is so important to establish an unbreakable sense of self-worth. One that does not depend on external validation or approval. A person who truly understands their worth does not feel the need to prove it to anyone. They do not feel the urge to argue or defend themselves when someone tries to bring them down. They know who they are, and they do not allow someone else's words to define them. If a stranger walked up to you and said, "The sky is green," you would not take offense. You would simply recognize that their perception is incorrect and move on. The same should apply when someone disrespects you. Their words do not suddenly become the truth just because they were spoken loudly or aggressively. The best way to make a rude person regret their actions is to show them that their words have no impact on you. When you remain calm, when you refuse to react, when you carry yourself with dignity despite their attempts to pull you down, you send a clear message. I know my worth, and nothing you say can change that. This is not arrogance, it is self-respect. When you stand firm in your self-worth, something interesting happens. The person who disrespected you often begins to feel uneasy. They expected a reaction, anger, frustration, sadness. Instead, they are met with composure, with confidence. They start to question themselves, to wonder why their words had no effect, and in that moment, regret sets in. They realize that they did not succeed in bringing you down. Instead, they only revealed their own insecurities. People who are truly secure in themselves do not feel the need to be rude or disrespectful to others. They uplift, they encourage, they spread positivity. So when you encounter someone who tries to bring you down, remember this: their words do not define you. Your worth is non-negotiable. It is something no one can take from you. And when you truly understand that, no rude person will ever have power over you again. When faced with rudeness or disrespect, the natural reaction for most people is to respond emotionally. Anger, frustration, or even sadness can take over, leading to heated arguments or unnecessary conflict. But wisdom teaches us that reacting out of emotion often gives the other person exactly what they want: control over our state of mind. Instead of responding impulsively, the best way to handle disrespect is to approach it with wisdom rather than emotion. A rude person thrives on reaction. They want to provoke, to stir up emotions, to make you feel small or powerless. But when you refuse to react emotionally, you disrupt their expectations. Instead of feeding into their negativity, you approach the situation with a calm and collected mindset. This shift in response not only protects your own peace, but also makes the rude person question their actions. One of the most effective ways to disarm a disrespectful person is to pause before responding. Silence is powerful. It allows you to assess the situation logically rather than emotionally. Ask yourself, is this person's opinion important to me? Do their words change who I am? The answer is almost always no. Realizing this helps you detach from the negativity, making it easier to respond wisely. Responding with wisdom does not mean you have to stay silent forever. If a response is necessary, choose words that reflect your strength rather than your frustration. A simple, calm statement like, "I hope everything is okay with you," or "I'm not sure why you're speaking to me that way, but I wish you well," can completely change the energy of the conversation. It puts the focus back on them, making them reflect on their behavior rather than escalating the conflict. It is important to remember that people who are rude or disrespectful are often dealing with their own internal struggles. They may be unhappy, frustrated, or insecure. Their rudeness is not truly about you. It is a projection of what they are going through. This does not excuse their behavior, but understanding it can help you approach the situation with wisdom rather than emotion. Instead of taking their words personally, you recognize them for what they are, a reflection of their inner world, not yours. Remaining calm in the face of disrespect does not make you weak. It makes you powerful. The strongest people are not those who shout the loudest or fight back the hardest, but those who maintain their dignity no matter the situation. When you respond with wisdom rather than emotion, you show that you are in control of yourself, and that is something a rude person cannot stand. They want to pull you into their negativity, but when you refuse to join them, they are left alone with their own behavior. In the end, wisdom always wins over emotion. Anger fades, but dignity lasts. When you choose wisdom, you not only protect your peace, but you also make the other person regret their actions, because nothing is more unsettling to a rude person than someone who refuses to be affected by their negativity. Kindness is often misunderstood as weakness, but in reality, it is one of the most powerful tools you can use when faced with rudeness or disrespect. A rude person expects hostility in return. They expect you to react with anger, frustration, or defensiveness. But when you respond with kindness instead, you completely disarm them. It forces them to confront their own negativity and, in many cases, regret their behavior. When someone is rude to you, it is often because they are dealing with their own frustrations, insecurities, or inner struggles. Their words and actions are not truly about you. They are a reflection of their own state of mind. Understanding this allows you to take control of the situation. Instead of reacting emotionally, you can choose to respond with patience and grace. This does not mean you allow others to walk over you. It simply means you do not lower yourself to their level. A simple, calm response like, "I hope your day gets better," or "It seems like something is bothering you. I hope you find peace," can be far more effective than an argument. These words show that you are not taking their rudeness personally, and at the same time, they subtly make the other person reflect on their behavior. They expected anger, but instead they received understanding. This can make them pause and reconsider their words. Kindness in the face of rudeness is a sign of self-control and emotional intelligence. It shows that you are secure enough in yourself not to be affected by someone else's negativity. When you respond with kindness, you are making a clear statement. I am not controlled by your words. I choose to remain in control of my emotions. This is a powerful position to be in, because it leaves the rude person without the reaction they were hoping for. Instead of engaging in conflict, you maintain your peace, which can make them feel regret for their behavior. There is also an element of surprise in responding with kindness. People who are rude often expect confrontation, but when they are met with warmth instead, they do not know how to respond. It throws them off balance and forces them to reflect on themselves. Many times, this unexpected shift in energy can lead to a change in their attitude. They may even apologize or adjust their behavior moving forward. Using kindness as a response does not mean you tolerate repeated disrespect. If someone continues to be rude despite your calm and kind responses, you have every right to set boundaries and remove yourself from the situation. However, in many cases, one simple act of kindness is enough to change the tone of the interaction and make the other person realize the impact of their words. In the end, the person who remains kind despite provocation is the one who truly holds power. By responding with kindness, you turn negativity into a lesson, not just for the rude person, but for yourself as well. It is a reminder that no one else should have control over your emotions, and that true strength lies in choosing grace over conflict. When someone is rude to you, it is easy to take their words personally. Their disrespect may feel like a direct attack, making you question yourself or feel the urge to react emotionally. However, one of the most important things to remember in these situations is that their words and actions are a reflection of them, not you. How they treat you is about who they are. It has nothing to do with your worth, your character, or your value. Imagine someone throwing mud at a clear lake. The lake does not become dirty at its core. It simply reflects the mud for a moment before returning to its natural state. In the same way, when someone tries to throw negativity your way, you have a choice. You can absorb it and let it define you, or you can let it pass by without allowing it to disturb your inner peace. When you understand that disrespectful behavior comes from a place of insecurity unhappiness, or frustration within the other person, it becomes much easier to detach from it. People who are rude often have their own struggle. They might be dealing with personal problems, stress, or a lack of emotional maturity. Sometimes they lash out at others not because of anything you did, but because they do not know how to handle their own emotions. This does not excuse their behavior, but it helps you realize that their words do not hold real power over you unless you allow them to. The best way to handle disrespect is to remind yourself that their negativity is theirs to carry, not yours. If a person is unkind to you, that does not mean you have done anything wrong. It simply means they are choosing to project their negativity outward instead of dealing with it internally. Your role is not to absorb their toxic energy, but to stand firm in your own self-worth. You do not need to fight back, defend yourself, or prove anything. Instead, you can maintain your composure and let their words fade into insignificance. One of the most powerful things you can say in response to a rude person is nothing at all. Silence, in many cases, is the best answer, because it shows that their words do not affect you. However, if a response is necessary, something simple like, "I see you're having a rough day. I hope it gets better," can shift the dynamic. Instead of engaging in their negativity, you acknowledge it without letting it touch you. This can leave them feeling regretful because they realize they did not succeed in bringing you down. At the end of the day, you cannot control how others treat you, but you can control how you respond. When you choose not to take their words personally, you take away their power. You remind yourself that your worth is not defined by anyone else's opinion. Their behavior reflects them, and your response reflects you. By refusing to let their negativity influence your emotions, you maintain your strength, dignity, and peace of mind. One of the greatest strengths a person can develop is emotional control. In life, you will encounter rude, disrespectful, and difficult people. Some will challenge your patience, test your boundaries, and try to provoke a reaction. But true power does not come from reacting with anger or frustration. It comes from mastering your emotions and choosing how to respond. The ability to stay calm in the face of negativity is a skill that not only protects your peace, but also makes others think twice about their actions. When someone is rude, their goal is often to get a reaction out of you. They want to see you flustered, upset, or defensive because that gives them a sense of control. But when you remain composed, they lose that power. They begin to realize that their words have no effect on you, and that realization can make them regret their behavior. Emotional control is like a shield. It prevents negativity from reaching you and keeps you grounded in your own self-worth. One of the best ways to master emotional control is to practice detachment. This means understanding that you are not responsible for how others behave. You are only responsible for yourself. If someone chooses to be rude, that is a reflection of them, not of you. Instead of taking their words personally, remind yourself that their negativity does not define you. The moment you detach from their behavior, you regain control of the situation. Another key to emotional mastery is learning to pause before responding. When someone disrespects you, your first instinct may be to react immediately. But taking a deep breath and allowing yourself a moment to process the situation can change everything. Ask yourself, does this person's opinion truly matter to me? Will engaging in this argument improve the situation? Most of the time, the answer is no. By pausing, you give yourself the space to choose a response that aligns with your values rather than being driven by impulse. Sometimes, the most powerful response is silence. Ignoring negativity can be more effective than engaging with it. If a rude person does not get the reaction they were hoping for, they are left feeling unsatisfied. They may even begin to feel embarrassed by their own behavior. However, if a response is necessary, choose words that demonstrate self-control rather than emotion. A simple, calm statement like, "I'm not interested in this conversation," or "I hope your day improves," can shift the dynamic. These responses show that you are in control, not them. When you master emotional control, you send a powerful message. I am not easily shaken. Your words do not define me. I choose peace over conflict. This kind of confidence is something that rude people do not expect, and it often leaves them questioning their own behavior. While they may have intended to bring you down, they instead end up feeling the weight of their own actions. At the end of the day, the strongest person is not the one who yells the loudest or fights the hardest. It is the one who remains calm, composed, and in control. By refusing to let negativity dictate your emotions, you hold the ultimate power over any situation. Walking away from a rude person is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of strength, wisdom, and self-respect. Many people believe that responding to disrespect with equal aggression is the only way to stand up for themselves. But in reality, the person who has the most power is the one who refuses to engage. When you walk away, you send a clear message. I do not allow negativity to control me. I choose peace over unnecessary conflict. This simple action can leave the rude person feeling unsettled, even regretful, because they realize they did not succeed in bringing you down. Rude people often seek reactions. They thrive on attention, on emotional responses, and on the ability to disturb someone else's peace. When they lash out, they expect you to argue, defend yourself, or become visibly upset. But when you simply walk away, you take away their power. They are left standing in their own negativity, forced to face the reality that their words and actions had no effect on you. In that moment, they are confronted with their own behavior, and many times that realization leads to regret. Walking away does not mean you are avoiding conflict out of fear. It means you are choosing which battles are worth your time and energy. Not every insult deserves a response, and not every confrontation is necessary. There is great wisdom in recognizing when engagement is futile. By refusing to lower yourself to the level of a rude person, you maintain your dignity and protect your emotional well-being. It is important to understand that walking away is not about proving a point to the other person. It is about protecting your own peace of mind. Engaging with negativity only drains your energy and adds unnecessary stress to your life. You have the power to decide what you allow into your mental and emotional space. Choosing to walk away is a way of reinforcing your boundaries. It shows that you value yourself too much to waste time on toxic interaction. Some people believe that not responding makes them appear weak or passive, but in reality, it is a display of self-control and confidence. It takes far more strength to walk away from negativity than to be drawn into it. When you choose to leave a situation instead of escalating it, you show that you are in control of your emotions and your actions. This kind of strength often leaves the rude person feeling embarrassed or regretful because they expected a fight but received indifference instead. At the end of the day, you cannot control how others behave, but you can control how you respond. Walking away is one of the most powerful responses you can choose because it denies the rude person the satisfaction of getting a reaction. It reinforces your self-worth and proves that you refuse to let someone else's negativity dictate your emotion. True power is not in fighting unnecessary battles. It is in knowing when to step away, knowing that your peace is more valuable than any argument.